So you have calculated a chi-square value, in this case 6.3, and you want to know is this statistically significant or not. For this, you need two things. You need to know how many degrees of freedom do I have, and at which significance level do I want to test this. Right? So here, if we look at the chi-square distributions, there are different depending on degrees of freedom. So here we have 3 groups. So let's say K is 3 with degrees of freedom of 2. So this black curve here, and you see this black curve goes like that. So down here we have the chi-square values, and here's the probability of you obtaining such a value if there is no difference between observed and expected. So we see as the chi-square goes up, right, this measure for the difference between observed and expected, as this measure becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, as this difference between observed and expected is bigger, the probability of this happening when there actually is no difference between observed and expected is going close to 0, right? So now one way is to actually come up here and say, okay, I got a chi-square of 6.23, and if you go up here on that black line, that's 3 degrees of freedom, that will tell you the probability of us getting this value. So if we go to the left, we would see here 0.044 is the probability of us having this value. So because 0.044 is smaller than 0.05, we know we would say at the 5% level that this is significant. Now, if we would have set the 1% level, we would say it is not significant because the p-value is larger than 1%. So here, there's a 4.4% chance of us getting this value. So at the 5% level, we'd say it's significant. At the 1%, we'd say it's not significant. Now we can, let me further illustrate that. If we would decide to determine critical values, then we would have this case, right? We would say, okay, where is this critical gap? At the 5% level, the 5% here is 5% is for 5.99. So your chi-square has to be bigger than 5.99 in order for it to be significant at the 5% level. So here we say, okay, our chi-square is 6.3. It's over here in the pink zone, so it's significant. If we did the same thing for the 1% level, right here would be the 5% level, but if we want to check the 1% level, the 9.21 is our significance level here. So our chi-square has to be bigger than 9.21 to be significant. Since it's smaller than 9.21, we would not reject the null. So these are two different ways to do exactly the same thing, right? Once we look up a critical value and then see is our chi-square that we calculated bigger than the critical or not. And the other way would just be to calculate the probability of the calculated chi-square value directly and figure out if this is significant or not.